Hey guys, welcome back. Continuing off where we left off last week regarding the intraday tech scores, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create interactive charts using these tech scores and hopefully see if we can find some sort of patterns. The table on your screen are the tech scores that should have been generated using the script from last week. We have all QQQ constituents ranging back to May 1st of this year. So as an example, we can isolate the tech scores for a particular ticker, which is what we're going to be doing. So if we take a look at Amazon, we see that we have 15-minute bars along with the stock price for the close at this particular bar. We have our factors, and if we scroll all the way to the right, we have our tech score. I'm going to be creating a function where you pass in the ticker, and it's going to go ahead and plot the tech score using your own data. So that's whether you're using 15 minutes, 5 minutes, or different symbols in your data set. So let's take a look at an example. Here we have Tesla ranging back to May 1st. The gray line is the stock price. The black line is the tech score. And I'm using a rolling quantile for the upper and lower bands, which are the red and green lines. So if we go ahead and maximize this plot, what stood out to me were certain instances for this particular ticker where the tech score was above the upper line or the red line. It kind of triggered a continuation, more noticeably in this area here. So we have a few instances where it's continuously above this red line, and we see that the stock price or the gray line is inching higher. And there were a few instances where our tech score was below our green line, and for these instances it seemed like it was a good buying opportunity. This wasn't always the case. So for example, I'll show you Meta. So if you scroll down here, our second example, we see that for this particular ticker, whenever the tech score was above the upper line, it kind of seemed like a top was forming. And whenever our tech score was below our green line, we had mixed results. So for this particular instance, on July 2nd, it was a good buying opportunity. But here from July 12th all the way to July 16th, the stock kept falling. So I'll show you guys how to create this plot, assuming you have generated the tech scores using the script in my previous video, and this script will be relatively easy. So if we scroll all the way to the top, here are some of the packages we're going to require, and I made a few adjustments because HiCharter kept displaying my timestamps in UTC time. So to keep local timestamps, you'll need to run lines 11 through 13. Line 15 and 17 are me just reading in my files generated from my previous script. And I printed out the unique stocks in my table, which are the Q's constituents. Now for the actual function, we are going to pass in the stock symbol, the probabilities, and our tech score data frame. Since we're using percentiles, you probably just want to use something that's less than or equal to 10% so that we're able to visualize the outliers. In other words, I have this set to 5%, meaning that 95% of my values should be within the upper and lower ranges. The way this function works is we're going to subset our table with all of our tech scores to that particular stock we pass in. We only want to keep the price and the tech score from that table, and we're going to convert this to an XDS object. We're going to use roll apply by passing in our tech score to create our upper and lower ranges. Now this is done from inception, so that's why I have 1 through the number of rows in temp. If you want to use something other than calculating the percentiles since inception and rather have a 20 or 50 rolling window, you would just have to change this particular parameter here. And now we can go ahead and use HiChart to create the plot from lines 50 to 57. And once you run this block, you can go ahead and plot these in this R markdown by just passing in the stock symbol, the probability, and our tech score data frame. So this was my finding on using tech scores for a single stock. In my next video, I'm going to be showing you guys a back test I did to see if it's a good idea to hold a certain number of stocks with the highest tech scores and see what type of returns we can get. But with that, guys, this concludes the video. I hope this was useful information. I'll leave a link down in the description area to my Patreon where you can find the script. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.